Yes, and welcome to Vasily's Garden Centre in Coburg, folks. We're at the front here. For those who don't know what I do, I turn up here once a week on average to have a look around and clean up the place a bit, help the kids, or the team that is. And I come and check out my veggie garden in the front. This is a planter boxes that I created, and here I'm harvesting, and I did confuse it last time. I said they were cabbages, but they're actually Romanesco broccoli. That's my bad. I got too excited. But these are good actually, because we've got the heads developing, and I'm going to keep all these leaves, going to go through some of the weaker ones. You can eat everything. Everything on a broccoli plant is pretty much edible. Even the stalk, if it's not too woody. Let me cut this one down. Ah, can you hear that? There we are. Take these leaves off. So that's the head of the Romanesco. This hasn't completely formed. You can see that's been getting a bit beaten there, weather beaten. That's a nice part there. It can grow larger. Let me show you the larger ones over here. Nice big head by comparison to this one. That's a nice formed one there. That's what you get as a Romanesco, folks. This is a real good specimen. Now, all these are coming out. They've done their time. If I leave them any longer, they're no good. They're edible flower heads. That's what they are. And so are these delicious leaves. You can chop them up, saute them, use them as the mothers if you like. Any which way you can imagine to cook it as a leafy green. And the same with the broccoli head, or the Romanesco broccoli head. So time to take these out. I'm not going to replant in here straight away, but I am going to pull them all out. But let's also go down to the other beds. Let's have a quick look. Here, we've got a tomato plant. This is one of our plug tomatoes. It's taken off like wildfire. Remember about the pruning? We're leaving 3 stalks. We've got some spring onions on the side. Some flowers there. We've got new growth coming on here. I don't want that because we've got 1 here, 2 there. And look, there's 1 growing there, and there's another one there, and there's another one in there. I don't need the inside one. We're going to remove that. Take that out. We may leave this one or this one. Look, and another one again. That's the stronger one of the 2, but look how high it is. So we're not going to get our flowers until we go all the way up to the top. So that's actually establishing a little bit too high. So I don't want it so high. So for those who are asking me, where do you like the second shoot and the third shoot growing from? Down below, not right at the bottom, it doesn't have to be, but somewhere down lower rather than at the top, because by the time that takes off, we're up here somewhere, and that's going to continue growing way too far for me. So looking at the base here, we've got nothing really establishing there. We've got 1 over here. So we said that, 1 over here, there's 1 there. There's another one on this side, but actually I want 1 on this side as well. And there is a couple coming along. There we are. There's a little baby one there. Can you see where my little finger is? There's a baby there. So every leaf where it connects to the main stem will have the possibility of a new shoot. Monitor that, pick the best ones, remove the remainders. That is way too high for me. But if it puts on a cluster of flowers, let it flower and then take the top off and stop it from growing any further. Good tip? Maresi. Have a look at this one. This is the beefsteak from memory. Yes, it is. Doing tremendously well. We've got tomatoes down here set. We've got more coming on that side. There's more on this side. Every cluster, there are flowers everywhere. And you know exactly why that happens. It's good quality potting mix or planting mix as we have in our black grid. But over here, the big Malacca. Look what's happened to this one. This ain't soil-borne problem. This is weather. It hasn't been in this garden bed long enough to acclimatise properly to the radical changes in the climatic changes that we're experiencing here. This was doing tremendously fine, folks, up until last night, where we had a sudden climatic change in weather. We got howling winds coming from the north, and it got pelted down with the rain as well. So a combination of high winds and rain will knock your plant out if it's young like this. You can see the other ones, which have climatized really well, have settled in. This hasn't colored up yet. It hasn't taken up all that micronutrient, being produced by the microbes in it yet. And plus, this part of the fence line has got no banner on it. We've got the banner over there, so that's protecting that side, but not over here. So this is the corridor, the wind corridor, and the poor little plant copped a beating. The capsicums have been in there, I think, that same time, but that one's holding off. You can see it's got a bit of a curl on top there from the wind. The, what's that, a zucchini? No, that's a cucumber, bad me. And the basil sitting below the height, the line of the planter box is protected. So It's not the soil. Every other plant's doing tremendously well. This has been beaten to death. And this is what I mean by outer edges curling over, broken leaves like that there, that's all gone, curled off. All that should be just cut off. Just remove it, don't take the entire leaf off. We need it to photosynthesize. We need it to be able to develop its sugars. You take away all the leaves prematurely, you leave no leaf on the plant, and then ultimately it's not able to photosynthesize, make its sugars to build the energy up, feed the microbes, and in turn get fed again. Hopefully the weather settles down, this will come good. I've also, if you haven't noticed, I put a pot around the base. Now the way I did that, because this is already established and I can't slide it through, for those who want to try it and have already got established tomatoes, cut the base off but cut a slit down the one side. That's all you need to do. And then just push it into the ground, the potties, and if it does start to open up on you, just put a bit of soft tie or string around the outside of it to keep it together. That way, as the plant grows, you can top it up as well, because they are adventitious roots. They will actually develop new roots. That's the tomato, that is. It will grow on wherever the actual stem touches the soil. So bigger, better, stronger plants long term. Let's monitor this and see how it goes. We don't need to do anything else. I might actually tie this up. Last tip before we go. All right, so what I'm going to do here is use the uprights of the framework. Just give me a second, tie one side up. Tight. I've done a loop around the center. Not too tight, just enough to keep it going. Like that, come back around the other one. Go around there once to keep it nice and taut. And then again around the center. We're not going super tight, folks. Just enough to stop it from wobbling around. See that? That's a great little tip if you're in a high wind-prone area. And then just pull through once and that will stop it from wobbling around. There you go. Now that will stabilize the plant and hopefully we don't have any more dieback on it from the high winds. It's more stable. Should have paid attention to that. And if these get a little bit top heavy, you may need to tie these down as well, folks, because again, once they get as big as this frame or the tomato plant, they become wind sails and it will push it over if you don't tie it down. So you might want to put a stake on that side or tie it down to the side with a peg on either end. And that way you stabilize the plant, because the last thing you need is the wobbly plant, and that undermines the root system, which means it does a little, well, it causes a little bit of dieback. Other than that, enjoy your garden, enjoy the weather while the sun's out like this, because it was raining before and now it's sunny, and in about half an hour it'll be raining again. That's Victoria for you. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. Our spring run out sale is going to go on to the end of the month, up to 75% off your garden essentials. Get whatever you need online at better prices every day. From me, Vasili, Maresi.